Hey y'all, today in this video I'm going to talk to you all about horizontal lines and how we get to work with them. So, from the previous videos we went ahead and talked about vertical lines and how we assume that it is a x is equal to some value based off the points that are given. Well, we can come up with the same type of equation. So, what we could say from here right off the back is based off of the rules that were given, we can say that y is equal to some constant there. So I can say, oh, y is equal to 9 based off of this. But then you may be wondering, oh, why is this y is equal to 9? Is that every time? Is this going to be something that we can just go based off of? So yeah, essentially that's what's going to happen. Anytime that it says horizontal, we get to assume, oh, we're going to go ahead and pick the y value that goes with it. So depending on what it says, we get to do certain things. But I'm going to go ahead and explain to you why we get to do that. So if we look at a graph here and we go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and plot the point negative 8, 9. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will give me negative 8, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to say that there's another point there. So that's our point. So we have our point now, negative 8, 9, that is located right here. Now, in order for us to understand, horizontal is going to mean it's going to be running from like going east to west. So it's going to be cutting a line straight through that's flat. So essentially, we knew that vertical was going to be running up and down. So then this horizontal line was going to be running left to right. So just like I mentioned before, if I wanted to create a line, I would grab a bunch of points and run it through here. Now, you only need 2 points to make a line, but if I wanted to be more thorough, I can grab a bunch of points through here. So I can run this line going through all these. But we notice if I drew this picture more accurately, what we could say is that, oh, if it's running through this, if it's running through negative 8, 9, then we could say, oh, well, this line is being constructed by several little points that are being dotted on there. Well, we could say, oh, so what are those points? So then we start to look, negative 8, 9, negative negative 7, 9, negative 6, 9. Then we get to say 0, 9. So 0, 9 would be the point right here where it would touch. So we'd say, oh, so now we get to see like, oh, there's certain values that are repeating. So based off of this, we would always see that, the only one that's not changing is the y. So what we can say from there is like, oh, if nothing's changing based off of this, in order to make this equation a line, you can say y is equal to this value, so it can represent a horizontal line. So like in this question, we can say y is equal to 9 based off of the idea that is a horizontal line. But there's other reasons why too, and I'm going to go ahead and explain that a little bit also. So what we want to go ahead and demonstrate, because they're going to say these in multiple ways, like I had mentioned before. So we have to assume here, like in their other problem, when we were talking about the vertical line, I went ahead and showed how the x's go ahead and cancel, and then we end up with an undefined slope. So that slope is really going to show us more or less what type of equation we're working with. Well, in this one, if we wanted to, so I'm going to pick the point negative 8, 9, and we already saw that 0, 9 is also a point there, which crosses, which is our y-intercept. So I'm going to pick the point 0, 9 to help us illustrate what my slope would be. So if I work with this, we're going to go ahead and see, oh, what does our slope turn out to be? Well, using the slope formula that we already had before, just write it down just one more time. Never hurts to rewrite formulas. It's a very big key when you're trying to learn math. So we get to say 9 minus 9, because it's my x1, y1, x2, y2. We get to say 9 minus 9, and then 0 minus negative 8. Which then turns out to be 0 over 0 plus 8, which just gives us 0 over 8. So then we get something 0 over 8. Now, I had mentioned before, there is a difference between getting 0 over 8 or 8 out of 0. Now, 8 out of 0, that's undefined. That means that we went to the store and got 8 slices of pizza, but we never even went to the store. Compared to, we picked up a box that has 8 slices already, and then I wasn't able to grab one because I was out doing something else, washing the car, doing something else. So here we get to say, oh, well, this gives me a slope of 0. So once I know that it has a slope of 0, so horizontal line, once we see the word horizontal line, our instinct should automatically tell us, oh, m is equal to 0. So I wanted to put it back into the equation of the line. Remember, y is equal to mx plus b, slope-intercept, or linear, whichever one you prefer. We get to go ahead and plug in the information. So I'm going to use the point -8, 9, which was given to us. And we now know that it has a slope of 0 based off of whether we saw it on the graph, we saw it on the formula, or we noticed. Once we knew that it was horizontal line, we knew it had a slope of 0. So what we're going to go ahead and do is plug in the information. So I'll say 9 is equal to 0 times -8 plus b. And we know that 0 times b will give us 0. 9 plus b, and then we'll say this. 9 is equal to b. Or, and then when we plug it back into the equation of the line, we go ahead and write it like this, which just turns out to be y is equal to 9, which shows the construction. So there you go, folks. If you have any more questions, let me know. I can help you with it.